Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Boy, don't I look smart. But I was just reading some documents that we're going to be showing you in today's video. Okay, so now we're still in 1974. No, actually now we're in 1975. And I became like this with our boy, Morris Weiss, the gangster from the 20s. I can't believe it. We are in 2024, and I'm talking about a guy that was murdering people and doing all kinds of shit 100 years ago. This was like a real gangster, like a James Cagney gangster, this guy was. So now we're best friends because I turned the Queen's House Attention into a peep show, into a strip club with VIP booths. I still can't believe I did that. So anyway, he and I are friends now. And he's still a shot caller on the street. He's making things happen. He's got a lot of content. The only visits that he got other than the girls coming to see him were council visits, which were lawyers. So I never found out what this guy was into. But we're in 1975 now. And I got two big cases out of that old man. We're going to talk about the first case against John Chubby Verrastro. I don't know what family he was a member of, but I know he was in the mafia, this guy. And this guy was no joke. So Morris was telling this guy, Chubby, what to do. And boy, Chubby would put money on his books. Chubby would come to the Queen's House of Detention and put money on his books. And this guy had like $5,000. He was putting like hundreds of dollars, thousands. I don't know. But whatever it was that those two were into, Chubby would come to the window of the cage. You'd walk into those doors that you see on the thumbnail. You walk in through those doors, and they had a cashier there, correction officer, and give you the money. Okay, so anyway, so he was putting money on. Morris was the boss. Clearly, he was the boss. He was calling all kinds of shots. So he tells me, and so now I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave the Queen's House of Detention to go upstate. And he knows I'm getting out. Because I was bullshitting him, telling him that they're taking me upstate on my parole violation. I just bailed myself out on all my court. He knew everything that was going on as it was going on. And that once I go up, I'm gonna max out on my sentence in 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. I'm gonna max out. I'm gonna be on the street. This is good. When you get out, I want you to see this guy, Chubby Verrastro. He's got a big score we're gonna take down. Now, Morris Weiss, of course, was a Jew, and he had a lot of connections in the diamond industry on 47th Street. For all of those, you guys that don't know, there's one block, I think it's between 5th and 6th Avenue, and on 47th Street, it's called the Diamond Exchange. Jewelry, all Hasidic Jews, and they're all going back and forth with millions of dollars of diamonds, Rolexes, a lot of money. And it was, so when you would go into the Diamond Exchange, you would walk into this big, huge facility. And they had little booths of vendors in all these little booths. And there was a guy by the name of Harold Goldberg. He was also a chiropractor. And he had a booth in there himself. So he tells me, I want you to do this score, and then I want 50% of what he pays you. Whatever your end guess, he was getting like half because it was his score. He knew someone on the ins. He knew, who he knew? He knew the Goldbergs made in their house. Now, they lived in New Jersey, not in New York. They lived in New Jersey. So he goes, they need another good man. And I want you to go see Chubby. So I do. So now I'm out. And as soon as I get out, he says, Chubby's waiting for you. He's waiting. He needs somebody. I think there was 4 people. And there were 5 people involved. And the maid, she got, I don't know, the maid got locked up too. So there was 4 of us. There was 3. Okay. So this is the way it went down. So he goes, I want you to go to Queens. I think he lived in Ozone Park, Queens. Chubby did. He goes, I want you to meet Chubby. So now the Manhattan DA, Jim Doherty, is running this guy, Chubby, John Verrastro, got his phone number. That's how we found out who he was. And wow, this guy's a big guy. This guy's a dangerous guy. Now I have 0 experience in doing undercover work. I mean, I just did that shit in jail and got my way out of it by doing Picard. And now I'm out. Now this is my first case. So now I'm introduced to a device called a Niagara, which is a tape recording device. It's about this big, and a cow, which is a transmitter that transmits radio signals to a base up to like maybe 6, 7 blocks away. And when they're able to hear it. It's in an attaché case, and they're able to hear it, and that's recording as well, everything. But that little piece of equipment, it's hot. And the only place you can put these devices is between your crotch, because that's the only place tough guys won't feel. So back then I was just out of jail and I was buffed. I had a chest on me. I was buffed. I was 150 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life. Both times like when I came out of jail. So we set up a meeting, and the DA's detectives, it was Tom Harkins, it was Jim Doherty, and a couple other detectives. There was like 6 detectives in 3 cars. And they're making me nervous. Got all this equipment on. I got a wire running from my crotch up in the middle of my breasts right there. The microphone was about this big and this wide, about that long, and it ran right down. And I was getting nervous because Jim Doherty was getting nervous. He knew who this guy was. He knew he was dangerous, and he knew he was just wired me up. So I meet this guy in the back of, and again, this is all in my book, Cop Without a Badge. So if you'd rather read it and have me tell the story, you can do that too. It's in the book. So I get his phone number. I call him. He goes, meet me in the rear of this Italian restaurant. And we get there. It's in Queens. I think Ozone Park, Queens. And we pull, and it's all dark. The lights in the back of the restaurant where they had a parking area, it was dark. It was fucking dark. And I drive in an undercover police car. At this time, I didn't even have my driver's license. I'm going to tell you that story too, about how many summonses they had to get. I had like 100, but that's, I digress. I'm going to get to the summons thing, right? So now I don't even have a driver's license. I'm driving a freaking ACU, an anti-crime unit, fucking police car. It was like a 72 Lamont Pontiac. Anyway, so I pull in the back, and I know where the cars are, but it's so dark. It's a residential street where the parking lot, you had 2 entrances. You had an entrance from the main street where the restaurant was, and then there was a dark street. And that's where all the cops were. They were all in that street. So if anything happens, they were all going to come. And something did happen. So now they got binoculars, and they're looking at me. So I pull in. As soon as I pull in, he's in a Lincoln, like typical mob car, Lincoln Town car. As soon as I pull in, they see his interior lights light up because it's that dark, right? And he gets out of the car, and he's a big guy. And as soon as he got out of the car, I'm walking to him. Hey, how you doing? Now I've been talking to the guy. I lived up in the Bronx. He knew my whole story. So and I was not expecting this. So I walk up to the guy, and the first thing I see is a big 357 Magnum. It's like right there. He's got a holster. I see the gun. First thing, hey, that's a nice gun there. I go, so, because they're listening to everything that's happening. I went, that's a nice gun there. And I look up the street and I see they open their door because the interior lights go on. I go, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. So that was Tommy Harkins, good man. As soon as, and all these guys were scared because, they're all scared for me. They knew who he was. I didn't. And they knew what he was going to do. And he did it. So he goes, hey, how you doing, Kevin? What's going on? And he hugs me and he's feeling me. Hey, how you doing? Hey, hey, you want me to put my hands up? Why are you feeling on me? You're like fucking gay, are you? No, wait, what's hey? And he's making all these motions, and boom, I see two more lights go on. It's like three cars up the street, and they're all like ready to run down this guy. So I go, wait, dude, what? Okay, here, pat me down if you want. And the first thing he does is he slaps my check. Boom. And when I heard the recording, you could hear, but it's a good thing I was buff, because when he slapped my chest, he hit the mic. He hit the mic. He hit the friggin' mic. And I turned around and I was like, because my back was to the cops. And he didn't feel it. He didn't feel either one of them. No, now, the cow was, anyway, go into the restaurant. We go into the restaurant. There's a female detective in there, and there's a male cop. So they're acting like, they're in the restaurant. And I walk in. I was surprised to see them. And we walk in and we start talking. He says, I got a score. It's a jewel. We're going to take off a jeweler in 47th Street. And I said, that's impossible. I mean, there is no way you could take off a jeweler, one of those vendors, in 47th, the Diamond Street. They have, everybody in there's got a gun. Every one of those vendors got a gun. They got security on the inside of that place and in the streets. And they have cops. So you can't do it. What do you got? Another deal to rob Fort Knox? You're not getting it. Don't worry. No, we're not doing it. We're not robbing it. We're not taking, we're going to take everything, and we're not going to use a gun. I go, really? How are you going to do that? He says, we got to end with one of the vendors, who is Harold. Is it Harold Keeley? Harold. This is a letter that I'm going to be showing you guys in a while. Harold Goldberg. Harold Goldberg was the jeweler, and he had over $1 million worth of gems in his little booth that he was selling, and other jewelry. And I said, how the fuck are you gonna get out? Yeah, you could take it, but how are you gonna get out? You can't get out. I don't want no part of this. I mean, you're gonna, no. Listen, we got an inside girl. That's the maid. What we're gonna do was gonna go to New Jersey, where he lives, where the maid works. We know who's in the house. We know everything. We're gonna go identify ourselves as cops. They had 3 phony badges. And we're gonna get in the house. Once we get in the house, he's gonna call us. Once we're in the house, we're gonna call and let somebody else knows that with this guy, I don't know how they did it, but that we're in the house. Took everybody, like, holding them. So they took the maid, they took his wife, and they took somebody else that just happened to be there. That's what they were. That's what the plan was. That's what they were gonna do. That's how the plan was gonna work. So while they're there, I know, I forget. I don't even know how it is. They're gonna break in. that guy is going to be there at a specific time as a customer, right? And then we're going to call from Goldberg's house and have the wife call him and said, there's men here with guns to our head. This was the plan. But it didn't go the way they thought it was going to be. Where there's armed guys, they're here now. Here, talk to the guy. And Chubby would get on and say, see the guy right there in the blue suit or whatever? Empty out your stuff, give it to him, and let him walk out. Okay? And if you don't do that, we're going to kill everybody in the house. That was the plan. So now, based on what he said to me, the Manhattan DA's office were able to secure a wiretap on Chubby's phone. And then he started talking to the other 2 or 3 guys. Anyway, so they're listening. So now what happens is Chubby didn't like me. He didn't feel comfortable with me. So he never called me to go on the job. But it didn't matter because now the Manhattan DA's office has a wiretap on his phone. They know what they're going. They know who Goldberg is. They know everything. They haven't contacted anybody yet. So now the dumbass Chubby gets on the phone one night and he goes, okay, we're doing it tomorrow morning, first thing. Boom. So now the next morning, the Manhattan DA's cop goes to New Jersey, to the local police there. They all get sworn in, the New York City detectives. So now they carry peace officer status in New Jersey, right? They knock on the door, police, they get into the door. Now Chubby's on his way. The cops beat them. Now all the police are in Mr. Goldberg's house. They're all in. They get out of the car. They don't have masks on. And they walk up to the driveway and they knock on the door. And Bob Mercado, who was my partner in my private investigation business out here in California until a couple of years ago. So they knock on the door. Police! and the New York City detectives are all in the house and the local police are all around. And he opens the door. Bob is a big guy. He's a badass too. He's from Brooklyn. He opens the door and he goes, hey, how you doing? And he grabs him, pulls him in. The other 2 guys run right into the other, pulls him in, throws him down, hooks them up, locks them up. And so what the real plan was that once Mr. Goldberg gave all the merchandise to him, and he says, okay, I got it. I'm walking out the door. They were going to kill everyone in the house. Leave no witnesses. They were going to kill everybody in the house. And now we're talking about June of 1975. I don't know because all you guys out there that have newspapers that can look up newspapers, so you can look it up. It made the New Jersey edition of the New York Daily News in June. Well, this letter is July 4th. Is it maybe July 4th? July 4th, 1975. So you can imagine how these people felt. You can imagine. So now, put that down. So I should do it. On July 4th, 1975, Mr. Goldberg wrote a letter to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to Robert Morgenthau. Now, don't forget, Bob Morgenthau just became the head. Now, I showed you the last time the picture of the rug. So now my cases are starting to make headline news. Okay, so this is one of the original copies of a letter that Mr. Goldberg signed. That's his address right there. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm just going to lift it up. And now, instead of me trying to read that thing, I'm going to have my beautiful assistant here read the letter that was dated July 4th, 1975, to the Manhattan DA's office. Okay, go ahead, Kelly, and please speak up.
Dear Sirs, I want to express my appreciation for the efficiency of the Office of the New York County District Attorney's Office in the successful arrest of 4 men who are accused of planning a heinous crime at my home. The District Attorney's Office not only learned of the crime, but effectively and efficiently monitored the preparations and maneuvering of the suspects. Through its inspector and detectives Robert Micardo and Joseph Chubby, they participated in the apprehension of the suspects without endangering the lives of my household. The police department should take pride in the performance of these men, and I will be forever grateful in the knowledge that such men protect the citizens of New York. Respectfully yours, Harold S. Goldberg.
Here it is right there. Boy, I'm glad I kept all this stuff. When we wrote the book, we interviewed all of these people. They were still alive back in the 90s. But so I didn't have my cover blown because Chubby decided not to use me for whatever reason, but it was too late. We got the wiretap, and that's how we got him. And so I think there were 3 people in the house that they were going to murder. And the murder never happened, thanks to Morris Weiss. And let's give homage to the one stripper that went over there and did a little show for him in the visiting. I mean, think about it. Like, I don't know. They used to have these things called peep shows on 42nd Street where you go into the booth, you put a quarter in, and the thing would go up, and you'd be able to see. That's exactly what I turned the Queen's House of Detention into. And as a result of that, that guy Morris loved me. Anyway, where have you guys ever heard such a story? True, got everything backed up. Anybody that wants to Google this case, they can do it. It was in the newspaper in the New Jersey edition. So this letter was sent July 4th. So that means sometime in June of 1975. So all you got to do is put John Chubby Verrastro in the Goldberg's name, Harold Goldberg, and that's all going to come up out of the New Jersey edition of the New York Daily News. So I still can't believe the strip club. And I mean, the more I'm thinking about this after doing the other video, think about it. Think about it. It's a peep show. All you need is a stripper on the end. And what about the underwear? Okay, so that's one good case I got out of him. But this is payback time. Now, don't forget, I'm out, and I still have 4 cases pending. Just because the New York City police bailed me out for $4 doesn't mean my court cases are over. Now they're going to have to tell every one of those judges. Now I just say 3 people being murdered. That's going to be. I'm walking now. I'm going to walk. So, but I get another case, and that case was the rug. So we're going to be doing that on the next one, and but that's how that one went. And I'm gonna okay. So I can't wait to do the next one. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.